like school somehow.
Except at school, they didn't execute you at the end.
Huh.
Unless you went to a really fucking tough school.
Once upon a time, in a tiny cobble-streeted town, on the banks of a fast-flowing river, there lived a little boy who didn't get along with the other children in town. They picked on and bullied him because he was poor, because his parents were drunkards, because his clothes were rags and he went around barefoot. But the boy was of a happy and dreamy disposition. He didn't mind their taunting, the beatings, the unending solitude. He knew that he was kind-hearted and full of love, and that someday, someone, somewhere would see the love deep inside him and reward him with kind. And one night, as he was nursing the newest of his bruises at the foot of the wooden bridge that led over the river and crossed out of town, he heard the approach of a horse and cart across the cobbled street. As the cart drew nearer, he saw that the driver was dressed in the darkest of robes, the black hood of which was casting a black shadow across his craggy face and drove a shiver of fear into the little boy's body. Putting fear aside, the boy took out the small sandwich that was to be his supper that night. And just as the cart was about to cross onto and over the bridge, the boy offered it up to the driver to see if he'd like any. The cart stopped. The driver nodded, then climbed down and sat with the boy for a while, sharing the sandwich and discussing this and that. The driver asked the boy why it was he was so barefoot and ragged and all alone. And as the boy was telling the driver of his poor, hard life, he began to eye the back of the driver's cart, which was piled high with small, empty animal cages, all foul-smelling and dirt-lined. And just as the boy was about to ask what kind of animal it was had been inside him, the driver stood up and announced he had to be on his way. But before I go, he whispered to the boy, because you've been so kindly to a weary old traveler, offering up half of your already meager portions, I'd like to offer you something now, the worth of which today you may not realize, but someday, when you're older perhaps, you'll see the value of and truly thank me for. Now, close your eyes. The boy did as he was told, and he closed his eyes. And from a secret inner pocket of his robes, the driver drew forth a long, sharp, and shiny meat cleaver. And he raised it high in the air and brought it scything down on the boy's right foot, severing all 5 of his muddy toes. And as the boy sat there in gaping silent shock, just staring blankly off into the distance at nothing in particular, the driver gathered up all 5 of those bloody toes and tossed them to the gaggle of rats that began to gather in the gutter. Then he climbed back up onto his cart. He drove on off over the bridge, leaving the boy, the rats, the river, and the darkening town hamlet far behind. Of Hamlet, you see?
Of Hamlet.
Yeah, no, the little boy's a little cripple boy who couldn't keep up when the Pied Piper came to town. It's a twist.
I know, it's a twist.
It's how he was crippled. It was the children he was after.
It's the children who was after.
The Piper. My whole idea, right, is that he brought the rats. He brought the rats.